I'm always going to be moving. I'm always moving when it starts. Ah! Good evening. It's like 5 o'clock on the 2nd of January. So, okay. I'm an idiot. I'm a big dumbhead. All those things. I came to the realization that my what's the good word for it? Not displeasure. That's still too strong. But my dislike or the focus that I find people put on. There we go. Something to that nature. Somebody's gonna come up with a word. On the whole like New Year's resolution, like do your New Year's resolution, make sure it's good, and then like all that stuff was kind of dumb. Like I was like, this is not smart. The whole thing about the church is being better, being a better person. And if some people want to celebrate that at New Year's by making resolutions instead of me like being all upset or like, well, I just do that all the time. Instead of me trying to be a cool kid, instead of trying to be a hipster guy, I should be like, that's good. I say that about everything else. I say that about when people learn fun facts. I say that about, all the things. Whenever anybody's learning anything, you should never make them feel bad about not knowing something because that's a chance for them to learn something. So I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb. My displeasure with the focus on it is not serving me. It's probably not serving anyone else. I definitely, because the people that do resolutions, I'm not making them feel better about like I don't do resolutions. I do things every day. Like that's such it's not smart. So we're gonna flip it. We're gonna turn the mindset. Shouldn't be married to your ideas. It's terrible. It's like being married to someone that's never going to change. That's scary. You want that one thing to be the same all the time. Like, no, you need some fluidity. You need some movement. And like, this is why you shouldn't marry ideas, because they are stagnant. They are a thing. And an idea. So sometimes they might evolve over time due to society, but very rarely in our lifetimes. So one of those things like, I was like, you know what? Let's flip it. I hope if you do New Year's resolutions, I hope you have a bomber New Year's resolution going on right now. I hope that you've had a not easy time, because again, the purpose of a resolution is to make yourself grow, so it shouldn't be easy per se. But I'm hoping you're having a decent time. You're not too hard, not too easy. But with that, as we say, the nice middle path. And I hope that, you stick to your resolution. Tell me what your resolution is. I want you to tell me how easy it is or how hard it's been, and because you know what? It is super dumb of me to be down on the resolution stuff. It's just not. It's not smart. So we're gonna flip it around. We're going to be positive, and we're going to be helpful, because if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I probably don't like them just in the same way everyone else doesn't like them. The same reason I never liked Lent growing up. I was like, I gotta stick to this dumb thing for a year or whatever. Like that's a terrible mindset for me. But for some people, it's like they're gonna stick to it for a year, and that's the thing that they're using in order to like measure themselves and move forward. So we're gonna turn it around. In other news, I briefly mentioned it last time, I believe, but we're gonna add to the canon again. Anytime I read a good book, it gets essentially added. So we're gonna do habits, power habit. It's pretty good. I don't have a selection for you, mainly because it's a lot of just vignettes and stories. And if you're interested, I would read the book. It brings up some very poignant things that anyone in the church should read, because that's why it's going to be canon. Anyone in the church should read it, because it's going to make you better, especially if you don't think about all of your habits. You don't think of everything as a habit. And then the book, one of the main takeaways from the book is you essentially are just a bundle of habits that you do on a regular basis. And if you want to change something or anything, you need to look at the habit that is involved in that thing, which is I found very fascinating and pretty solid. It seems like a pretty smart book. I mean, in all things, take it with a grain of salt. You know us. You have to take what works and discard, and don't worry about the rest or ask questions about the rest. If something just makes sense, use it. But I was even before that, for the last year or whatever I've been talking about, like essentially he had already written down long before I started doing this. Well, maybe not long before, a couple years before. I started my own personal like change of habit journey. Is essentially when he wrote this. So it's like I've been doing it, but I read it and I'm like, this dude is making a lot of sense. And it's like he took it a lot, like another step further. Like I hadn't really thought about even, because I still think about my habits now, like some positives and negatives and things I want to change, things I want to do better. But like bringing it down to the level of like brushing your teeth and how you do that in the morning. And I went like, he's like, it's right. Like I don't necessarily think of even like down. I don't necessarily go down to that next level. And brings up a pretty good point. Probably should be thinking down to that next level on how habits act, because that's what founds us and drives us forward. But that's what I've learned this week. I'm back. I get to read fantasy book. I'm reading Bands of Mourning. Got back into some Patrick Rothfuss. I'm gonna finish up. I'm gonna cheat a little. I'm gonna read both of the Wax and Wayne series that are out. If you're a nerd like me and you like that stuff, I'm gonna read those both first, and then go and back to I think the next book on the list of like more. Not that I wouldn't include. I include most of the fiction that I read to be canon too, especially Rothfuss and Sanderson, and when Jordan was alive, and like Tolkien, and then you have Roddenberry, and I get to cheat and look over at my bookshelf, and like you also have in Asimov and Herbert, so both sides, my fantasy and my sci-fi, essentially the same story. Don't be nerd haters and come down on me. So it's I can include most of those, especially Sanderson with like anything in the Cosmere. He's telling a story. Well, okay, not all of it, not every part of every book, but he's in especially in like Stormlight archives and stuff like that. He is telling a story that he's trying to prove a point, I think, with maybe not. Maybe he's just like, no, this is what people want. They want giant world building, like epic fantasy, and I'm going to give them giant world cosmos building fantasy. We're going to go past just one world. We're going to have multiple, blah, blah, blah. So maybe he's just doing that and he's just trying to make a buck. But I would like to think that there seems to be an underlying story. There seems to be like this tale of how we should act as people and behave as humans and consciousnesses, and how to be good to one another. Again, could be wrong. So like I said, I take those things as canon as well, but like, I don't necessarily always bring them up, do I? I probably should. Probably say, because I think they're good fantasy books, and there's no reason to say, and there's no reason, they're good books in general. There's no reason why me saying one more person saying, hey, go read this, and it also might have something that you might get from it on a intellectual, spiritual level. It's not just going to be like, oh, it was a ripping good yarn, as the boys at Legendarium would say, and girls at Legendarium. That's about it. I hope everyone's having I hope it's been a good year. It's been a good year so far. I can say that. It's only the second. Whenever you're getting this, I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're better today than you were yesterday. And I'm pulling for you. So if you need anything, just let me know. Love you guys. Be good.